I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you for the check, ma'am. So guys, hi everyone. A little about me. My education consists of I did MCA from GGS IPU, Delhi, and then I did my MTech from DCRUST, Murthal. I am also NET qualified and GATE qualified, and my skill set includes numerous technologies including Python, Django, machine learning, data science, NLP, and I'm completely doing my things in the field of data analytics right now. So guys, I hope you have fun interacting with me and having this session with me. This complete session 3 consists of the following things. The course outline would include introduction to Python, the installation part of Anaconda Navigator, and how we install Python. Features of Python we'll talk about. Then we'll work with Python. I'll give you some working syntax. Then we'll talk about list, loops, the data types, basically the data types in Python, including list, tuple, dictionary, string, and everything. So this session will set a base for all of us to further go and dig into machine learning. Okay, so I hope this session is quite fruitful for everybody. So let's directly go to introduction of Python. How Python was developed. See, Python is a completely object-oriented high-level programming language. And the most important feature why everybody wants to learn Python is that it is very easy to learn, very easy syntax as compared to its biggest competitive, that is Java. It is more interactive, it is easy to write, interpretive, and is meant for general purpose. When I say Python is general purpose, I mean that Python can be used for creating a wide variety of applications. It does not only include data analytics, it does not only include machine learning, but a lot more. Okay, you can create web applications, you can create gaming applications, you can also do static programming, desktop applications you can create, and in fact artificial intelligence codes and RPA code, that is robotic process automation, all is written in Python. So Python is a general purpose language because it can be used for any type of application that you want to create. Who is the father of Python? It is Guido van Rossum, and he developed and released the first version in 1991. So Python is not a new language; it is quite old one, but in the course of time, slowly its popularity increased. So Python is a powerful scripting language, and it can also be used as efficient programming language to develop wide variety of applications. And the most important feature of Python is also that it is open source. Means you can simply download Python and install it and start using on the tools that you have. You can use Visual Basic as a tool, you can use PyCharm IDE as a tool, and Anaconda Navigator as a tool set you can use. So all these things make it popular. It is open source, you don't need any license as you need in Microsoft or in other things. It is simply open source. It is under GPL, general public license. So why Python is so special, guys? Python, has certain features. Like first of all, as I said, it's a beginner's choice of language. Whenever you are starting to write codes, okay, generally, in the earlier years, we used to study C, C++, then slowly move to Java for coding. But right now, nowadays, what's happening? The course is shifting. The beginners, especially the young people who are trying to learn coding, they are going for Python because the easiness, because the ease of syntax writing is the most important reason behind it. Python is general purpose multi-purpose language that enables development of variety of applications, may it be text processing applications, may it be text mining applications, web programming, machine learning, games, anything. Okay, it supports multiple programming approaches also. Like you used to have procedural approach in C, C++ languages. The same approach you can follow when you are doing static programming in Python. So you can follow procedural approach, functional approach, or object oriented style also. The most important point again, guys, is that Python is interpreted. It is not compiled. It has interpreter attached to it, not a simple compiler. So it is quick. Okay, because interpreted languages are generally quick as compared to the compiler based languages. Python is also interactive. We'll see in a short while when we'll do some codes today. We'll see that it is quite interactive. It is easy to write, and user interaction is a must over here. It is dynamically typed. That means you don't need to give a static, data type. as we used to do in C, C++, and Java. We don't need to specify any data type. Dynamic typing means at the runtime, the type of the variable will be assigned value, the type of the variable will be assigned the required storage. It has automatic memory management. You don't need to give don't need to allocate memory separately or deallocate it afterwards. You don't need to do all those stuff as we used to do in C and C++. It supports platform portability. We'll see when we'll do installations that you can install and use Python not only in Windows but also in Mac, in Linux, in all the operating systems that you have, the popular ones. You can use Python in any of them. Okay, and it also supports various third-party tools and utilities. As you will go on and progress with complex applications like natural language processing, NLP applications, or AI applications, you may require to use certain APIs or third-party libraries. And it can be easily integrated with Python on certain tools. So that makes it very rich language because you can easily integrate. You don't need to write hard code for integrating APIs and third-party tools. You can directly do that in Python and the related tools over here. So guys, one important concept that we need to know when we are studying Python, that Python falls in the category of scripting languages. Guys, the point comes, all our programming languages, then why, what is this term scripting language? It's a very, very important term as far as coding is concerned, because scripting language is a type of programming language only, which works on the fundamental of automating a repeated job. It is basically, the focus is on automation. Okay, like you need to train your system to do certain type of certain type of algo, completely again and again. While executing a procedure, you need to repeat that particular code again and again. So repeated job is done through that algo. So for coding that algorithm, of for doing that repeated task, what language you use is a scripting language. It reduces the development time because you have to just train your system once and then it will keep on moving with that algo only. So it also reduces human effort, improves the performance. So guys, scripting languages require a separate runtime environment to execute the code. Scripting languages are also interpreted. So all those languages which are interpreted, 99% of them fall in the category of scripting languages, whether it be Python, whether it be JavaScript, Perl, Visual Basic, Bash, Unix shell scripts, all of them are scripting languages. So we can say Python is a scripting language being interpreted high level programming language, which is developed for the purpose of fulfilling general purpose programming requirements. So if we say who are the popular Python users, you can name any big company and that big shot is definitely a Python user, whether it be Google, because the father of Python, that is Guido van Rossum, already works in Google. So Google is a most important player in the field of Python and data analytics. Other players are like Intel, Cisco, HP, Seagate, Qualcomm. S3 also uses Python as end user customization tool for mapping products. Basically, it deals with mappings. YouTube, whether you say YouTube, Amazon, Netflix, all of them are using data analytics and the behind code is written in Python. Okay, so where Python can be used, guys, if you want to see what applications are done in Python, the most important application is that web applications are written in Python nowadays. If you see popular websites like Netflix, Google, YouTube, Uber, Instagram, Spotify, all of them, all the big names, they are web applications. And the frameworks, basically they are using Flask as the framework, Django as the framework. So all of them are being used in Python. Apart from them, you can use Python for game development. Okay, big games like PySoy, Civilization, Disney's Toontown, Vega Strike, all these games are totally developed and maintained in Python. So it has a separate library, guys. Understand this thing, that Python has separate libraries for each and every task. If you want to do analytics, if you want to go for you have scikit-learn. If you want to go for machine learning, if you want to do this natural language processing, it has NLTK. If you want to go for neural networks, you have TensorFlow, Keras is the frameworks. So it has different frameworks and libraries libraries which are meant for specific purposes. Similar to that, if you want to go for game development now, then you have Pygame as the library, which is popularly used for game development. Okay. Anyways, if you talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is the biggest use of Python programming language, then you can see a lot of libraries that we'll talk about today also. We'll talk about NumPy, we'll talk about pandas. Apart from this, you have scikit-learn for visualization. And someday other we'll talk about matplotlib, seaborn, bouquet. So we have different set of libraries which are so rich, which are so useful to automate your work. Okay, so you can develop variety of applications, whether it is personal assistant applications or fraud detection applications, product recommendation applications. You will be fascinated to know that Amazon, Flipkart, all these big names, these biggies in the case of B2B, that business, they all are using recommendation systems, and in Amazon it is quite popular. Netflix also uses it when they need to recommend you the videos as based on your history of watching videos, your history of navigation. They recommend you products, they recommend you videos, they recommend you all the stuff that you require. Okay, nowadays stock prediction, stock price prediction, housing price prediction, your image segmentation, all these advanced and complicated applications, which were earlier very tough applications when they were done with Java, but now they are quite easy because of the rich libraries of Python. You have the use of Python in data science and data visualization. You can also create desktop applications, graphical user interface applications through Tkinter library. So we have Tkinter library, which is used for creating widgets. It is used for creating to-do applications. You can say simple desktop based applications that can be used on a single system. So all those applications can be used with Tkinter library of Python. Web scraping, you can directly, this is a very important application, guys. Web scraping, when you have websites and you want to see the daily users, you want to see the daily data of your website that is being updated, especially the real-time websites. They use this web scraping applications when they want to compare prices. The most important, if you see the website of Trivago, I hope all of you had some time or other visited this website of Trivago or Go Ibibo, you would have seen. So at these websites, they compare prices. On Trivago, you compare prices of holiday packages on MMT, Make My Trip, or on Go Ibibo, or on another websites. So basically what they do, they web scrap these websites, they get data out of that websites, and then they compare that data and present that data on their website. So this kind of application which extracts data from other websites, this type of application is known as web scraping application. Okay. Anyways, you can also create business applications. Business applications means which are domain specific, like which are basically enterprise resource process applications, or the content management systems are there, or e-commerce applications are there. So you have some Python based platforms which do that. One example is Triton. Okay, so Triton is you can say a complete platform which helps you to develop a business application which is specific to some particular business type. Okay. Anyways, if you want to install Python, now let me just come to the installation part. If you want to begin installing Python, first of all, as I told you, it is platform independent. You can install Python in Unix system, Linux system, Mac OS system, but definitely the installer has to be specific. So I've shown you this complete URL. You can see python.org.downloads. You can visit here and you can download a specific Python version that you want. Okay, the specific, if you say current Python version is 3.10, 3.10, I would say. But in this complete session, we'll work with the Python version 3.9 because it is more stable version, and in long run purposes, when you will do machine learning and everything, you are going to get good support for this 3.9 version. So that is why we are using the version 3.9. Here I am writing the recent version is 3.7.4 because my content is, I have to update it completely. I keep on updating my content. So this was the previous version that I used for natural language processing applications, because NLP is supported in a more stable version, which is 3.7.4. 3.9 has a limited support for NLP applications. But anyways, if you go on current website of python.org, you are going to see the latest version 3.10. I'll show you the entire steps. If you see, first, when you visit this Python website, python.org, and specifically downloads, you can see in the menu you have this downloads option. So you will see over here the latest version for Windows, as I said, it is 3.10.6. And you have different available executables for Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac, or any other operating system that you are using. So we'll go for Windows, we'll click on Windows. So as we go on Windows, we are going to see on Windows we have this downloader available for Python 3.10.6. But as I told you, we'll go to a previous version 3.9. So I'll just move to 3.9. So you can see as I go on Windows, I have to click on the Windows option. Okay, as you click on the Windows option, you are going to see a lot of releases. You can see this was 2nd August release of 3.10.6. So we'll go to the previous one, we'll scroll down and we'll reach to this particular screen where we reach to 3.9.6. So whatever demonstrations I will show you here, they are done on this version of 3.9.6. Okay, so you have installer available in 32-bit and 64-bit both. So you can just see your system configuration and check whether you have 32-bit system or you have 64-bit system. So whatever system you will be having, you can directly download that particular installer and get started with the installation part. So in my system has 64-bit availability, so I'll just download 64-bit, and that executable will be downloaded. And as we click on the executable, we are going to see the beginning of this installation process. So you can see this is the first screen what you are going to see when you are going to install Python 3.9.6 64-bit. Guys, here I want you to make a note that you have this option of checkbox add Python 3.92 path. This checkbox is very important. Always and always make sure that you select this check and add the path. This path variable is set with your computer. So if you will not do this, you have to manually set up the path every time, which is going to be a tough process, especially for the naive people or the beginners, that setting the path every time you work with Python applications. So to reduce that effort, just to make your life easy, make sure that you select this checkbox, you add Python 3.92 path. So this path variable will be added itself. Once you select this checkbox, you have to click on install now. Just see this, it has this complete path available, like see users, user drive, then my name, Nidhi folder, app data, local programs and everything. If you want to change this path, if in case you don't want the installation to be done in this you can say default path given by Python, then what you can do, you can customize your installation. You can choose location where you want to start installation process, and you can also select some features. But guys, if you are new to Python and you are just starting coding in Python, then I would recommend you just to select this check and click on install now. No need to do things which are not known to you. So don't customize things unless until you are experienced and you want specific things to happen. Okay, so you can go for default install now. As you begin with this, the setup will progress. You can see the setup is progressing over here, and slowly it will just install all the development libraries that you require. It will support you with all the toolkit that is present with integrated with Python. So it will set up everything for you, and at the last you will get setup successful. Okay, here you can see I am getting a disable path length limit. Okay, this is nothing, no error is there, just a Windows warning to you, or you can say a simple notification. This especially happens when you have multiple versions in your system. Like in my system, I'm getting this kind of path limit, just a notification, because I have in my system version 3.7, I have in my system 3.9.4, 3.9.6. So depending on the applications that I use, so it gives me this, because different versions may have different limits of the path length. Okay, so that's why it is just giving a notification. You can just ignore it and close it. So once you close it, you are done with the installation process. You have completely installed Python. I hope installation process, anybody has no doubts in it. Okay, so installation, the way I have told you, and you can just simply install it and download any version that you require. Okay, once it is installed, we can check which version we have done in Python. Okay, the version of the Python we can check through command prompt. You can simply open your command prompt in your system, and here you can simply write the name Python. Okay, this is the installation that we have done. Okay, so Python, then space, then two hyphens. So hyphen version. Make sure you press two hyphen. Single hyphen version is not recognized as a command. Double hyphen version is recognized as a command. So Python hyphen version, you can see we have simply installed Python 3.9.6. So current version that I'm using is 3.9.6. But guys, I would recommend you to do this, but it is not hard and fast thing. You can simply download any of the Python versions, even if you have previous Python versions, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, or you have downloaded a new version 3.10, then also it's okay. There is going to be no change. The syntax is going to be the important point. Guys, one thing I want to tell you, whenever you will visit Python and try to install it, you will get two versions basically, Python version 2 and Python version 3. If you want to use latest tools, if you want to use machine learning and all those stuff, those applications, then do not install Python version 2. Install Python version 3 always. The check for Python version 3, you can see here the digits written. The first digit is 3. This is the Python version 3 that we are talking. Okay, so it has to be Python version 3, not 2, because version 2 has limited support for machine learning and AI applications. So I always recommend to all my trainees to install version 3 only. Okay, after 3 you can install 3.8, 3.7, 3.9, 3.10, anything, but it has to be version 3, right? Okay, so once we are done with this, let us try to open the prompt of Python. Okay, so we try to open Python prompt. How are we going to do that? We will just go to start menu. Okay, so you can see a screen of my start menu in my system. So as you go to your start menu, you can see over here you have different I have different Python folders, because in my system I had installed different versions of Python for numerous applications. You can see a folder of Python 3.6, then you can see a folder of Python 3.7, then you can see a folder of Python 3.9 that we have just seen. Okay, it's just installation we have seen over here. So you open the folder that you actually want to work on. Like now I want to work on Python 3.9, so I've opened this folder. As you open this folder, you get these four options. You get an attached editor. Ideally, idle editor is the attached integrated editor for Python. Okay, it is a default IDE, a limited default IDE for Python. You can write simple applications and execute them on idle. Apart from them, you have a command based interpreter also. So you can see Python 3.9 interpreter. So you can just open this interpreter and you can run simple commands. When I say this is interpreter, it means it can work on a single command at a time. So Python 3.9 interpreter will work on a single command, but if you use IDE idle, you can use multiple commands at a time. Okay, so this is the different. You can you can see manuals over here. You have documents and manuals, everything you have. Fine. So I just click on Python 3.9 interpreter. You can see it is selected. So I just click here and we select this prompt, and what we see is the next screen. You can see this Python 3.9 64-bit prompt is open for you, and here you can see three brackets, okay, three angular brackets. This three angular brackets is basically known as the Python prompt, okay. Here you can write any of that command and run it. Once you write that command and run it, you can simply execute that command and see the output. So we can write our first command, a simple command, hello world command on this interpreter. So what I do, I just write print hello. So you can see on this screen, I'm writing print, and in double quotes we can write hello. So as I press enter, I write this and press enter, we can see it is printing hello. But you know, it has limited support. This particular screen has a limited support, this prompt, because it is a single command interpreter at a time. You can just simply interpret only a single command at a time. You cannot write complete functions, you cannot write, you know, complete software on this interpreter. For that you need certain IDEs. How you get those IDEs, guys? See, different people have different approaches. You can simply download an IDE, say PyCharm IDE, or you can download Jupyter Notebook and start running with it. But when in long term we are running applications, we are creating big programs, we are creating big softwares, then you know we need integrated environment. We need a complete environment where on a go I can install different libraries and I can work on different features. How we can do that? How to do that particular thing? For that purpose, you need a navigator. You need a tool set. That tool set is Anaconda Navigator. So we can see a list of IDs. You can see on your system. You have a list of IDs that I have given you: PyCharm, Spider, PyDev, Atom, Wing, Jupyter Notebook, Thorny, Rodeo. You can also work on Microsoft Visual Studio for working with Python, Eric. All these are popular IDs, and these are not limited, okay guys. I should write etc for it, because you have a, you know, more and more IDEs are coming nowadays, which are making your life easy, which are more automated. You have a lot of stuff available over there. So you can see over here, this is just a limited list of Python IDEs. So I am not going to install specific IDE every time. What I'll do, I'll just install a navigator. I'll install Anaconda Navigator. So what is first of all Anaconda Navigator? It's a complete tool set, guys. You have automatically available all the, you know, IDEs that can work with Python. Most of the IDEs you have, and other IDEs if you want you can install them in Navigator. This Navigator completely gives you an environment where you can in a single go you can install the required libraries. You can work with neural network libraries, you can work with AI libraries, you can install in a complete environment. You don't need to install everything in your complete system. What happens, guys, when we are in real time working on multiple projects, then our system's memory is divided you know, separately for separate softwares, for separate tools. One tool, suppose, is being used for artificial intelligence and machine learning project. Another tool is being used for some statistical analysis. Then what will you do? You know, your system is going to mess up the memory. So what happens? This navigator gives a complete environment wherein that separate memory area is there, in which you can install separate libraries, and that libraries are not going to interfere with the memory as occupied by different softwares. So that is the most important benefit of using a specific navigator or a tool set, okay, for particular applications. So this Anaconda Navigator toolset was developed by Peter Wang and Travis Oliphant in the year 2012, and they basically brought this particular navigator for all the platforms, whether it be Windows, Mac, or Linux. So you can use them on anything. So the company is Anaconda Product Incorporation. So here you can, from here you can install the professional version also, or you can install individual version also. See, there are two types of Anaconda navigators available for you. One is professional version, which has to be bought, which is a commercial product. Another one is the individual edition, which is, you know, available as a free code, free source for all of you, and you can simply install and use it. So Anaconda individual edition is to be used by all of you. But nowadays what they have done, it was a recent updation, they have upgraded individual edition as a distribution. So now earlier what was known as Anaconda individual edition is today known as Anaconda distribution. Okay. So how you have to install Anaconda Navigator? Let us simply go. You have to type in on the Google Anaconda Navigator download, and as you do it, you are directly visited to the results provided by Google, and the first result is anaconda.com. Okay, so this is the official website of Anaconda Incorporation. So it is www.anaconda.com, and here you can see Anaconda distribution over here. Okay, just click here. Now you will be redistributed to Anaconda distribution. Okay, so earlier it was known as Anaconda individual edition, but now it is known as Anaconda distribution. So you can see over here you have the download option available for Windows. Guys, one thing you all need to make sure, that is whatever Python version you have installed, you have to download Anaconda Navigator related to that version only. Like I have downloaded Python 3.9. Now I did not download Python 3.10, and I said that it has limited support. The reason was this, because 3.9 is a stable version, and for that you have Anaconda distribution available. You can see here Python 3.9. It supports still Python 3.9. It does not support Python 3.10. So that was the basic reason why I downloaded version 3.9 of Python. Okay, so as compared to that version only, you have to visit and you have to download Anaconda distribution. Now the question comes, if I had downloaded Python 3.8, 3.7, then what? Basically this particular version, it supports the other latest versions also, but if you have much older version of Python installed with you, what you can do, you can go to the archive. So you need to click on this Windows. You can see a Windows button, you can see this apple, eaten apple, which is a symbol of Apple Mac OS. Okay, and this is the symbol of Linux, a penguin, a sitting penguin is a symbol of Linux. So you have to click on whatever platform you are using. So if we go to Windows, we are, we have to click Anaconda distribution. Then we'll see Anaconda installers. We can see again for Python 3.9, we have 64-bit installer available and 32-bit installer also available. So you can click either 64-bit or you can also click 32-bit. So any of them, both of them you can use as, your platform support. Okay. And similar to that, you can also go for Mac OS or Linux, whatever platform you are using. Now, if you have previous versions, you can go to the archive. You can see additional installers are present in the archive. So you have this option of archive for you for older versions of Anaconda and for older versions supporting older versions of Python also. Okay. So you need to go that archive page. Once you visit that archive page, you are going to see a list of Anaconda navigators. So here you can see a complete list of Windows, Mac OS, Linux based. Okay, so it is starting with, Anaconda version 1.4. As you will keep on scrolling, you will reach to Python Anaconda version 3.5, 3.7, and so on. So you can download those particular previous versions if you have that requirement. Otherwise, if you have 3.9 installed, you can directly go for the latest version of Anaconda Navigator. So once you have completely downloaded and installed it, saying next, 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 and installed completely, you will get this interface of Anaconda Navigator. So as I told you, this Anaconda Navigator is not a single application. It's a complete tool set, guys. You can see a complete tool set is over here. You have its own command prompt, this command.exe. This is its own command prompt. Then you have Jupyter Lab as another application. Then you have Jupyter Notebook as another application over here present that we'll use. Okay, we'll use Jupyter Notebook today. You have PowerShell prompt. Okay, you have PyCharm IDE, IP console, Qt console, which is known as Spider. It was interactive Python. This is Spider. It is basically used for, statistical applications or for machine learning visualization. Okay, good visualizations you can see. Then you have Visual Studio Code also, because I have this installed in my system. So once you have the applications which are separately also installed, you can see those separately installed applications also on Anaconda Navigator desktop. Okay. Again, you have GlueWiz, you have Orange 3. In fact, R programming is also supported by Anaconda Navigator. And for that purpose, you have R Studio present over here. But I have not used that R Studio or GlueWiz, or you can say Orange 3. So that is why it is showing me installation buttons. Okay, the button is showing me install. But all those applications that I use, okay, or you will use, it will show you launch, because first time if you will launch Anaconda Navigator, these applications will be on the button installation only. You have to install these applications in the environment of Anaconda Navigator. Once you have installed them, then you can directly launch them. So next time I will do, after installation, next time I try to open this Jupyter notebook, it will show me launch. First time it will show me install. Okay. I hope everybody is clear till here. Fine. So once we are here, we can launch anything. We can work on any of these products, any of these applications. So you can see, if I want to run Jupyter Notebook, I click on Jupyter Notebook launch button, I'll click. Jupyter Notebook always and always runs on a browser. You can see this interface, it runs on the local host, it needs support of your browser. So whatever default browser you will be using, maybe it may be Chrome, it may be Firefox. So whatever Mozilla or anything you may be using, that default browser will be open. It will be Jupyter Notebook will be redirected to that local host browser. Fine. So you can see this is a tree structure. You can see directories arranged in tree structure. So you have all these directories that I have in my system. You will be able to see those present in your system. So when you want to open a new Jupyter Notebook file, because we'll be doing all the practicals today on Jupyter Notebook file. So how to open a new file in Jupyter Notebook and how to open a new notebook and run code on it. Let's see. So here you can see a lot of stuff. You can see upload, you can see new. So I want to create a new notebook. So how I will go about it? I will click on new, and as I click on new, guys, you can see it is giving me the option of Python 3, because I have only Python 3 installed in my system. I don't have any other Python 2 or anything other than that. So I have only Python 3, so it is giving me the option of Python 3. Click on Python 3. So as you click on Python 3, it will launch a new complete notebook. So you can see this complete notebook newly present in Jupyter Notebook. Fine. So it is right now it is giving me the name Untitled 17. As I will click on this name, I can give a new name to this. So as I click over here, you can see I can rename the notebook. I am giving here the name demo FTP underscore BCIIT underscore session 3. So in this way, I can rename this notebook and click on rename. So as I click on rename, I will be redirected to a complete new file, which will be named with the name of demo FTP BCCIT session 3. Okay. So here what we have done up till now, guys, we have worked on the installation part. We have talked about the basics of Python. We have talked about the features of Python. We have talked about how to install Python and use it on Anaconda Navigator. We have seen the installation of Python, installation of Anaconda Navigator, launching of a Jupyter notebook, and how to create a new notebook in Jupyter. So we have seen till here. Now, the next part of this session consists of Python language fundamentals, where we are going to discuss, the features of Python with respect to its syntax. Okay, so we'll talk about the different data types in Python, how to create new variables, what are literals, comments, keywords written in Python. Okay, so let's go about it. So, guys, what are keywords in Python? Every language has certain keywords. Okay, if you want to work on any language, you need to know what are some reserved words in Python. So the Python keywords are also the special reserved words which convey a special meaning to its compiler or interpreter. Each keyword has a special meaning and a specific operation attached to it. So these keywords cannot be used as a variable. You cannot use these names, okay, as the variable names. You cannot assign names as these variable names for these keywords. So as far as Python 3.7 is concerned, it has 35 keywords, and Python 3.9 has approximately 40 keywords available to you. Okay, so the list keeps on increasing with the new version. Okay, they keep on increasing the list of keywords. Now, how you can see complete list of keywords? I have given you code. You can see all the keywords present in your version of Python by using these two statements. You can say import keyword. Now, let us first of all try to understand the syntax. What does it say? Import keyword. Import is the actual word or the keyword that is used to import a library, import a complete file into your current system, into your current RAM file. So here I am using import and then keyword. Okay, keyword is a small library which helps you to extract keywords, which helps you to check keywords in your current program. So import keyword will import the keyword library in your current program. And then we can use print command to print keyword dot kw list, that is keyword list. So you can just print keyword list over here. So what I have done, just see over here, you can see I have simply worked on Python 64-bit interpreter. I have opened that command prompt, and in that I have written import keyword. You can see this first statement, import keyword. So since I told you that this interpreter works on a single statement at a time, so when you will say import keyword, it will just work once. You will press enter, and that keyword library will be imported, that file will be imported in your current interpreter. Now if you say print keyword dot keyword list, okay, it is going to print in the a list. This you can see bracket, this bracket signifies a list of keywords. So you can see all the keywords present in your system. So you can see this screen for Python 3.7 because I have in my system all the versions, basically three versions. I have 3.6, 3.7 and 3.9. So I can work with any of them. Whatever version you will install, you will be able to see that particular list of keywords present in that particular version. So if you work with Python 3.9, as you have seen the installation of that, you will get a list which is compatible with Python 3.9. But here you can see the list which is compatible with Python 3.7. Okay. Next, Python has a help utility, guys. This help utility helps you to see, to get help about some module, about some, some library, about some syntax. If you want some help, you have help utility available with you. Okay. This help function helps you to get the documentation of a specified module, class, function, variables, etc. So this you can easily use with the help of help function. This method is generally used with Python interpreter console to get details about Python objects. So the syntax you can see, you can click on help, or you can type help and then object, or you can just simply enter the help, this particular thing. So you can see help. If you want to work with some boolean value and you want to check about true, you can say true. You can write collections, you can write modules. So whatever you want help with, you can write that particular thing. And when you want to get out of that help utility, it's a utility, guys, it is a separate area, okay, which you will use only if you want help on that particular topic. After you have done your work, you want to move out of help utility, you can type quit. You can say QUIT, quit, and then you will get out of that help utility. Okay. Anyways, what are the comments in Python? You have two types of comments in Python. If you want to work with single line comments, you can write hash. You can say this hash symbol is used for this particular single line comment. And if you want to work with multi-line comments, then you have to use triple quotes. Okay. Triple quote is a very, very special important operator in case of Python language, because triple quotes, when used with strings, they used to create multi-line strings. Okay, when you have to create strings, and these triple quotes, when used to disable a particular line, a particular code of your program, then they are termed as comments. We'll see when we'll do the practical part, but you need to remember this thing, that multi-line comment, when used with strings, these triple quotes, when used with strings, they become a multi-line string. And when these triple quotes are used to disable certain part of your code, they are termed as multi-line comments. Okay. Anyways, so there are two special important things, that is input and output, how to take input in Python, how to get output from Python. So for that purpose, you have input function present in Python. You can see input and then a prompt is there. Now, what is this prompt? This prompt is any message that will be prompted for the user. Okay, this prompt is the message for the user. We have seen that Python is very interactive language. We have already talked about this, that Python is very interactive language. Then how it is interactive? Because it makes interaction with the user. You can input certain things. You can prompt the user to input a particular thing, and you can see the output of that particular thing. So input and output functions make Python totally interactive language. Okay, so if you say num equals to input, enter a number, then the user will be prompted this message, enter a number, and then with the help of input function it can enter or input a particular value for the user. Okay, similar to that, if you see print function, then print function also has the syntax that it can print certain objects. It has a separator also. Separator means that multiple values if are printed, then each value is separated by that separator. Then at end, okay, you have this option of end, which refers that once it has printed all the values, at the end what particular value will be displayed. So that end option is used to display the last thing after everything is printed. So by default it is \n, which is obviously a new line. If you want to change it, you can change it. Okay, file is sys.standard_output. What is this system.standard_output? Sys is a module. System module is a very important complete module of Python, which actually interacts with your system, with your with your CPU, I would say. So when I say standard output, that this stdout, this standard output, it refers to your monitor, because by default whatever you want to print, you want to print into your monitor, your screen. If you want to get printed into a certain file on system, you can give its path over here. But ultimately, if you have to print on the monitor, if you want to see on the screen, by default, so it is going to be sys dot means system module dot standard output, which is your streaming into the monitor. Okay, so the print stream is going directly to your monitor screen. Flush equals to false. This flush, actually this flushes out all your buffers, this flushes out all your print buffers, and all the you can say the default values which were present automatically in your print buffers, in your monitor buffers, all those things are flush. If you make it true, then every time you print something, the previous buffers will be flushed out. If you make it false, then the previous buffers will not be flushed out. So you can change it, but ultimately our storage and our buffer areas are nowadays having a large storage space. So flushing things is not a requirement, is not very necessary nowadays. So that's why even if you make it true or false, it is not going to matter at all for you. Okay, so no problem with that. So you can see some examples I have given. If you say print in single quotes, one thing guys, when you are printing a string, okay, if you can see here print, and I am printing in the brackets, I am printing a message, say hello user. You can enclose this string either in single quotes or in double quotes. Both are going to work same. Okay, in Python, single quotes and double quotes both refer to strings. So you can use any of them. You can enclose the string to be printed either in single quotes or in double quotes. That is going to be totally same. So you are going to see the output hello user. Similarly, if you want to print multiple values, say you are going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to separate each and every value by a comma. So default separator is comma. Okay, when you are printing, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you print it, you are going to see the output as 1, 2, 3, 4. This comma has to be the separator inside the print function that you are using. Okay, so here you can see the difference. When we were printing hello user, we were giving single quotes because it was a string, and when we are printing numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, these are simple numbers or integers, so that is why we are not giving any quotations over here. Now, using the entire syntax of print statement, you can see print 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we are using a separator SEP equals to, in single quotes we are using hash. So this separator Now this separator function, this separator option will be used for separating the output. Now the output values will be separated. Each and every value will be separated with the help of this separator, which by default is a space, because every time you can see earlier output, it was 1 space 2 space 3 space 4. So it was nothing. No particular separator was used. So here you have given hash. So this will be used as a separator to separate the output values. Now AND, you are using AND option also, and you are giving ampersand. So after it has printed everything, it will print ampersand. So you can see output. So first value hash, then 1 hash 2 hash 3 hash 4. So 1 2 3 4 was our original output. Each and every value 1 2 3 4 is separated with a hash, and finally at the end you can see this AND option, which is ampersand. So this is how you can do certain things with print. Any other day when we'll get some more time, we'll work a lot on the formattings and print formatting, input formatting. But today we have limited time, so I'm just giving you a brush up, or I'm focusing on the most important syntaxes that we can work for the entire day and in the coming sessions that you will be using. Okay, so I hope it is not too fast, but the time constraints I have. Some other day we'll talk in more details about all these options and the format functions, especially the format functions of output in Python. Okay. Anyways, so identifier, let's go to identifiers. Identifier means anything that you are naming in Python, naming conventions. So all the more Python has similar naming conventions as we have in Java, or you have in C, C++ or .NET, or any other C Sharp you are using, any language that you are using. So almost the conventions are same, that the first character of identifier must be an alphabet, or it can be an underscore also. All the characters should start from capital letters, or it can start from small caps, small letters, or can be an underscore. But after that you can have digit. Okay, it should not start with digit, it cannot begin with digit. Fine. So identifier name must not contain any white space, it must not contain any special characters. Identifier is your variable name. Okay, in simple language if I say, then whatever variable name you are declaring, you are using a new variable, so that name of that variable is known as an identifier, and that identifier conventions we are studying now. So it cannot be any white space, it cannot contain any special characters, and you cannot use any keywords also. So no keyword should be used as an identifier. So they are also case sensitive, guys. You can see I have written here contact number in 4 different ways, and all these 4 different variables will become different identifiers. They have their own different storage areas, own different memories, so they are not going to be same, although as a user you are going to read them as contact number only. A single difference of an alphabet makes the change. Remember this always. Python is a very case sensitive language. It does not read single small caps letter and you can see capital letter as same. Capital C and small c is different. Capital B and small b is different. So that is why you can see contact number. Here C and N are capital, here only C is capital, here all are in the small caps. Here you can see I have put an underscore. These are all different variables. Fine. So if you see some examples of valid identifiers, then you can say AB789. This is a valid identifier because it's beginning with alphabets, and then you can have numbers. It is valid. You can begin with underscore. You can have alphabets. That is okay. You can begin with alphabet, have underscore, and then you can have numbers. That is also okay. You can have no numbers, single alphabets AB. That is also okay. If you talk about invalid identifiers, then you can see you are starting with a number, you are saying 7a, which is invalid. You can say you have a exclamation sign. So exclamation sign is a special you can say special character present in your keyboard. You can't use that in identifier name. So all of them are invalid. You cannot use space. You can see a space 7. This is also invalid. You cannot use that. You cannot use special character in the beginning @QW. This is all invalid. So I hope after this you are very through with how to name some variables in Python. Okay. Okay. So this is simple variable declaration. You need to use an assignment operator, an equal operator. You have to write a variable name, equal operator, then you can assign a value to it. Okay. Anyways, An identifier is used to identify a literal or value which is used in a program. Variable is also known as identifier, which holds a certain value. A variable is a temporary storage area, guys, where you can see it's a temporary memory location that can be given some value for usage. Okay. Now quickly I move to the data types in Python. If you want to see about data types in Python, you have a very rich set of data types. They are numeric also. You have sequence types also, boolean values also, dictionary, set, different values. So here you can see a flow chart where I have shown different types of values that are present in Python. You can see numeric values which divided in three categories, which is integer, float or decimal values you can say. Then you have complex numbers also. This is something important, guys, because in other previous languages, whether it be Java, C, C++, you had integer, floating point numbers, decimal values, long integers, and so on. Here you don't have those categories. Here you have unlimited data, unlimited length available to you. So there is no specific length that integer has to be this length only, or float has to be this length only. No, there is no limitation to length. This makes Python popular. Okay, you can use scientific notations. You can work on any type of data, any type of statistical value, any type of scientific value present. All are valid over here. So another thing for solving statistical applications or linear equations especially, you may require some complex numbers where you have a real number and imaginary number also. So those kind of applications are also solvable using Python, because here complex number is a specific type of object that can be used. Remember this, guys, that Python is a totally purely object oriented language. Here all the data types are in terms of classes and their objects. So you can see integer is a class, float is a class, complex number is a class, and whatever you create are going to be objects of these classes. So it is a purely object oriented language. It has all the things in the form of objects only. So that is why I'm again and again taking the name as object. Okay, so you can create complex number object, you can create dictionary also. Now this dictionary is similar to the way we have our word dictionaries. Okay, English dictionaries you have, where you have a word and you have a meaning attached to it. Similar to that, we have a key, and according to that key we have a value attached to it. For example, if I say name of a person, suppose the name of a person is Jolie. Okay, so the name is a key and that name key is having the value as Jolie. Similar to that, if I say age, age is a key which has a value say 20. So this person whose key value, key is name, the name is Jolie. It has again another key of age, it has the value 20. So dictionary goes in the form of a key and its value pair. We'll talk about more about dictionary in the coming time. Okay, so we'll talk about dictionary also. Again, we have boolean values. Boolean values are purely true false values. Okay, you have you use these values just to have those flags that some particular task is done or not done. Yes, no, true, false, that kind of thing, on, off, that kind of situations where one thing is either done or is it not done. So that kind of values are done with the help of boolean. Okay, another thing is your set. Set is this a very very important, you can say, a mathematical sets that you use. Okay, like you can perform here union of two sets, the mathematical operations that you used to do, the union of sets, the you can say you can find out the union of set, intersection of different sets. So all those set operations you can work on with the set data type of Python. Okay, it has all unique values present in the set, no repetition is allowed. We'll talk more about set in the coming time. Then we have sequence types. The values are always present in sequence in these types. So what are these sequence types? There are three sequence types you can see. One are strings. Strings can have any sequence of values available. It can have alphabets also, numbers also, special characters also. So sequence types, the name sequence itself says that the sequence or the order does not matter. It can have any sequence, it can have any order present in it. Okay, so this is the main thing. Then you have list. Okay, list is also a sequence of values of different data types. It may have different type of values present in it. It may have different or same type of values. Suppose say I have list of students, so that particular names of students can go in a list data type. I have list of employees, that again that names of employees can go in that list. I can say we have different project name and their IDs, so we can have again a list, and nested inside the list we can have dictionaries also. So these data types can be used together also. What I mean to say is these data types can be used separately also, and these data types can be used in combination also. You can make a combo of dictionary and list, you can make a combo of strings and list, you can make a combo of list and set. So I'll show you different type of practicals that you can use with list and strings and everything. So another thing is tuple. Okay, we also have this important data type which is tuple. Tuple is basically helping you to keep your data fixed. What happens, guys? Sometimes what happens, once we write the data, we want to make it right protected. What I mean is that we do not want to anybody else to make changes to our data. For example, I'm giving you a real-time example. What happens when I'm making, suppose I'm making a list of salaries, okay, for those employees. Now I have written that salary, I've verified it, but I don't want any security breach and that particular uh, list of that salaries to be modified, or anybody breaching this security and coming to this particular type of data and changing or overwriting the salary part. I don't want that to happen. So for making that particular data right protected, we can use this type of which is known as tuple value. It is similar to the list. It works similarly to the list works, but it is very restricted. It is very limited and less flexible as compared to list. In list you can modify hell lot of data, you can modify any damn thing in list, but in case of tuple you cannot modify things. Once it is written in the tuple, you cannot insert new things, you cannot update that thing. It is right protected, it is totally right protected data. Okay, so we'll talk more about list, tuple, strings and everything. Okay, so we can also categorize the data types. Sometimes people ask me as according to mutability or immutability, how can the data types in Python be categorized? So you have two categories. Whatever flowchart we have done, I am categorizing those things now in immutable and mutable types. When I say mutation is allowed or mutability is allowed, I mean some changes are allowed. So when you talk about mutable types, those are lists, dictionaries, lists and set. So you can have changes in all these types. You can write once and you can change anytime you want. You can update new values, you can add new values, you can remove values, you can make certain changes, you can repeat values. Repetition is also allowed to some extent in these types, depending on whether it is a list or dictionary. We'll talk more about it. And immutable types are those which do not allow any kind of changes. Okay, once it is written, it is fixed, you cannot change it. Like you give a number, that integer, you cannot change that number, you cannot manipulate that number. Okay, you can make calculations and store those calculations in some other variables, but that particular number itself cannot be changed. Okay, similar to that, strings are also immutable. Once the string is given, you cannot modify that string. You can work on those strings, you can split the strings, you can join new strings, you can concatenate, you can do any changes you want, but you need to store that in different string. Okay, you cannot manipulate the same string. Similar to that, you have tuple. As I said, tuple is also the part where you cannot change things. Okay, it again keeps things right protected, you cannot change things, right? So I think now we can simply move to uh, the practical part. Okay, I am just quickly going through the slides. Okay, and then I'm going to the practical part. So numbers, you can simply assign numbers. A equals to 10, B equals to 20. If you want to assign strings, you can either use single quotes, double quotes or triple quotes. All of them are valid, but till triple quote only. Means single quote one pair of quotations, double quotes means two commas, inverted commas, triple quote means combination of 3 single quotes, okay, you can use them. But apart from 3 quotes, you cannot use other quotations. Similar to that list we have, you can see list of values where we have word Sumit, we have numbers 149, we have floating values 7.76, again we have a word Priya, then I have again floating point values. So list can contain any type of data. It can contain a combination of data also. Then we have tuple. Tuple can also contain combination of data, but it is right protected. And the difference is the brackets also. You can see list is having square brackets over here. You can see square brackets, but tuple is having round brackets. So we are having round brackets over here in case of tuple. If you want to see dictionary, dictionary are written in curly brackets, okay, curly braces you can see, and they are unordered. They do not have any particular order attached to it. Tuples list all have orders attached to it, but dictionary and set, they do not have any order attached to it. Always remember, if you are asked what are the ordered values, then they are strings, lists and tuples. They are ordered values because order of data is very critical in case of list, in case of tuple and strings. They have particular index attached to it. But if you talk about dictionary and set, they do not have any kind of hashing available to them. They are totally unordered type of values. Their order is the key itself, okay, like dictionary, it has the key which helps you to access a value. There is no indexing, there is no order attached. You can give data in any order, okay. So you can see over here dictionary equals to, in curly brackets we have name as a key, colon value is Sumit, then we have code as the key, colon value is 149, then department as the key, and then we have value as IT. So again, the keys and values can be combination of numbers or alphabets or word strings, anything it can be, right? Similar to that, we have set of values. You can see we have set one in curly brackets. Now the brackets are same for dictionary and set. The only difference is in dictionary we have a key value pair, but in set we have single values. We have sequence of values. So we have dog, cat, monkey, donkey, whatever. So all these values are separated with a comma, and these are set values, right? So okay guys, so I think now it's time for us to quickly go to the practical part. So I am just opening that practical point part, okay. So I'm just stopping this I'm stopping this presentation. I'm just taking you to the practical demonstration now. Just give me a second. Just hold on, the practical part is opening. It may take a while because a lot of stuff is open on my system. Okay guys, I hope my screen is again visible to everybody. And here we have this demonstration. I have because of time constraints, I have pre-made these some codes for you to just explain them to you quickly and cover all the topics present in the session. So you can see over here, just can anybody give me a check? My screen is visible to everybody. Sonia
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's visible. Yes, it's visible.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the check, ma'am. Okay, guys, you can see over here. So this is a simple demonstration for integers. You can see over here demo for integers a equals to 5. Then you can print type of a. This type is very important because it helps you to access the class of that particular value. So as I told you, Python is totally object oriented. Everything is in the form of a class and object. So here if you say type and a, so this a, it is totally dynamic value that is given to a. I have not declared any type of integer, float or any value. Whatever type of value you assign to this variable, that type is assigned to this particular variable. So here the type of value is integer. So you can see class int. So int is a class over here. So type you can see int. Similar to that, you have float values. If you see 5.0 type, then it will give you class float. Complex numbers, if you talk about, you can see c equals to 5 plus 3j, where this 5 is a totally real number and this 3j is a totally you can see imaginary number that we have over here. So we can do some manipulations over here. As I told you, you cannot change the original number. What you can do is you can manipulate the number and see different things. You can do certain calculations, and those calculations you can print them and store them in different numbers. So if you want to add some values to this complex number, you can say c plus 3. You want to add real number 3 to this. So once you do c plus 3, you what you output you will get after doing this, 3 will be added to the real value 5. So it will become 8 plus 3j. Similar to that, if you want to add only the imaginary number, you can see c plus 4j. This imaginary number will be added to the complex part, the imaginary part of the original number. So the output will be 5 plus 7j. And if you want to add all of them, you can say c plus 2 plus 2j. So the real part will be added to the counterpart 5, and the imaginary part will be added to the respective imaginary part 3j. So you will get 5j. So the output is going to be 7 plus 5j. Now another thing that I have used over here to just give you a glance is instance. This function helps you to detect whether a particular value is an object of that class or not. So I want to check is instance. Instance means object. So is this C variable that we have declared, is this an object of complex class or not? So we are giving C comma complex, so it is giving you true. That means yes, it is true that C variable now it would be it would not be correct to say C as a variable. Once we allocate a value to it, once we assign a value, it becomes an object. So now we can say this C is an object. So yes, it is true that C is an object of this complex class type. Okay. Quickly, I come to the strings part. Okay, once you how you declare strings in Python, you can see we have string 1 equals to, in single quotes we have hello world. So basically we can give single quote hello world. Again, we can also work with double quotes. We can say double quotes hello world and try to print it. It is not going to show you any changes. You know, at the very complex level, at a higher level, you are going to see some changes. You are going to see some things used at particular areas only. But as far as this basic level is concerned, you can use any of these quotations. This single quote and double quote can be used to create single line strings. But if you want to extend your string to paragraphs, you want to write paragraphs, if you want to write multi-line strings, then you need to use triple quotes. So you can see string 1 triple quotes hello world, it will work same. But if you want to extend to multiple lines, you can say string 1, I am using triple double quotes now. So hello all, welcome to the world of Python, and print string 1. So now you can see the output. It is printing string 1 three times, one with single quote, double quote, triple quote. All the strings are printed in the same way. You cannot see any changes over here. You can see quotations do not matter when we are printing single line strings. But when we are printing multi-line strings, then you can see triple quotes work over here. And as you have given, the way you have given the paragraph or the string, it is printed in the same manner. It is, static string. So you can see hello all, welcome to, and after that you have that enter value, the new line value, and then it is printing the world of Python. So the same way as I have written over here, it is printing in the same manner. Okay. Now, how to access strings in characters? As I told you that strings are ordered and indexed. So they have particular index value, position value attached to each and every character. So once you give a string, say str equals to welcome to Python training, then you will say str. If you print the entire string, you can see the entire string will be printed as a whole. If you want to access only the first character, you can see the first character always begins with the 0 position. So this welcome to Python string, the W, this W has the position 0, this E has the position 1 and so on. So the first position always begins with 0 value. So that is why I am saying str, and in the bracket, the index brackets, I am having this 0 number. That means I want to access the first character. So it is going to print W. Now similar to that, if you want to access the last character, guys, in Python we have the concept of negative indexing also. In Java or in C Sharp or in other languages, we do not have this concept, but Python offers a very flexible programming part. So that is why it also offers you to write negative indexes, but negative indexes start backwards, they start from opposite side. Okay, so here we can see this G is the last character and it is going to be given the index of -1. So from the back end, if you see from the end, if you start using negative indexes, they start with -1. Okay, from the front end it begins with 0, and from the back end it starts with -1. So if you want to access the last character, you do not need to count everything, you do not need to find the length of the string as we used to do in Java. But here what we can do, we can simply say -1, and here -1 will give you the last character. So you can see str of -1 is G, the last character. Now, if you want to access a slice of character, the concept of slicing is also there in Python, where we can get a chunk of characters out of a string for particular usage. For example, if you want to use second to fifth character, means we want to include second character and we want to exclude the fifth character. Always remember, when we are finding out, when we are digging out a slice, then the first starting index will be inclusive, but this end index will be excluded. It will go one value less than this last index. That means if you are giving here 5, then the printing of the string will be done only till index value 4. It will print index value 1, 2, 3 and 4, not fifth, because this last final this index is excluded, it is not present. Okay, it is not included in the printing process, it is not included in the manipulation process. Now similar to that, if you want to slice out the sixth to second last character, then how it will be done? We will do with sixth position means index value 5. So we'll start with 5 because it is inclusive, and we'll move till last second last character. So second last character means -2, because -2 will not be included in this. So you will be able to print this particular value. Okay, I hope you can work on with these things. You can after this session you can practice those things once again. Okay, so negative slicing you can work on with Python in this way. Now, let us see some manipulations that we can do with strings. If you want to concatenate two strings, you can just use string 1, string 2. You can simply use plus operator to concatenate two strings. Similar to that, if you want to repeat one string multiple times, you can use an asterisk and then write the number of times that you want to use. String 1 multiply 3, there's asterisk operator 3, that means 3 times you want to repeat. So you can see with using plus operator, we have concatenated or joined these two strings, and with the help of this asterisk operator we have repeated 3 times this particular string hello. Fine. Similar to that, we have we have a complete list of methods available for strings. We will do only one or two methods over here just for demo purpose, but these are not limited. There is a complete huge list of methods which is available for strings. Okay, so I am working here with the find method and index method. Both of them are used to these methods are used to find particular value, particular presence of that or occurrence of that particular substring that you want to find out in that big string. Okay, suppose we have string 1, as Python is a powerful programming language, and we want to search here this particular substring power. Okay, so I'm searching index of power with the help of find method. We can say str1.find, and excuse me, and here we are giving the substring as power. So wherever the first time it will find this complete substring, it will give you that index value. So this power starts at index value 12. So that is why you can see this index value 12 over here. And in case you're not able to find any string over here, suppose now you want to find the value of complex. Just excuse me, let me have some water. Yes, guys. So if you want to find a particular substring which is present in that string, suppose we wanted to find this power substring, so it will give us the index value where this power starts. That means this P is present at the index value 12. So it will give you the index value as 12. And then you have index value. Suppose you want to find the index value of complex. Here you can see complex word or string is not present in this complete big string. So it will give -1. So that is the main purpose of find method. If it has that substring present, then it will return the index of that particular substring. If the substring is not present in the complete string, then it will return -1. It will not give any error. Okay. But apart from it, if you use index method, then in index method, it will also work in the same way. If you want to find the index of power, it will give you the same value 12. Okay, that is okay. But if you want to check the index of any particular substring which is not present, then it will raise an error. So you can see over here value error. It is saying substring not found. But in case of find, it was giving us -1. So this is the difference. Once you have that substring, the working is same, but if you do not have that substring, then find method will not raise an error. It will simply give you -1 just to show you that value is not present. But you know, this index method will raise a complete error for you to solve. Okay. Anyway, split method. What split method does? Split method splits or breaks the complete string, big string, into small parts, a list of small parts. So you can see string 1, Python is a powerful programming language, and I'm going to split it. I'm saying string1 dot split. Split the separator I'm going to give, because you know, when we want to split things, we want to know the breakpoints. We want to know from where we need to break this particular string into chunks, small chunks. So I am giving space. So once it encounters a space, it will break, it will split the strings. So this complete string, with reference to the spaces, it will be broken into pieces. So Python is a powerful programming language. So all these small substrings, you can see a list of strings you will get, right? Similar to splitting, we have a joining method also with us. We have join method. This join method joins the complete part of the string with a small substring. So we can see we have a separator. We have string 1. Python is a powerful programming language. We have a separator also, which is a comma. So what I want to do, I want to join each and every part of this string with this comma. So each and every character will be joined with this comma. So you can see P comma, when once we use the join method, we are using separator dot join string 1. So what is happening? P comma y comma. So each and every string, you can see each and every part of that string is joined with a comma. So this happens when you use join method. Okay, so there's a difference, guys. Concatenation is used with the help of plus operator. It completely joins two strings. Join method joins each and every part of that string with another string that you are joining. So whatever, instead of comma, you can use a string. So each and every component of this string will be joined with that string. Okay, just keep a check on that. Fine. So next we have some demonstration on list also. You can see we have a list 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we are printing this list. Similarly, if you want to create an empty list, you can give an empty brackets and you can print that. So empty brackets is again empty list. You can have a list with mixed data type. So you can see 11, hello, 5.7, world. So you can see multiple values over here, multiple types of values, complex numbers also we have, strings also we have, float values, numbers, everything, mixed type of values. Now how to access the values in lists? So you can use again the indexes. Again, the first value begins with 0th index, first index and so on. So if you want to access the first value, you have to use the 0th index. Okay, so it will print T. If you want to index the third item, you can see T if you want to access that. So T will be having the index position as 2. So that is why I'm using the index position 2 over here. Fine. Now we can create nested lists also. Nested list means inside a list you have different types, okay, different nesting of values. So you can see hello, then again we inside this list one we have another list 88, 44, 77, 99. This is another nested list. We have a tuple as well nested. Okay, this is a tuple which is nested inside the list. So we have this combination of a list and tuple together working. Fine. So how to access nested elements? So for this you can use two indexes. Fine. So 0 and 1, this first index, this particular first index tells you the position inside a big list. Okay, so this is the 0th position. This complete list is at position number 1, and this complete list is this complete tuple is at position number 2. And inside this, if you want to go, this will be specified by the second this bracket, second index. So this 0 1, what does it mean? It means this string is the 0th value, this specified this first index 0. So inside this string you want to access the index number 1. So that means this E will be done because this E is having index value 1 inside this complete hello which is at index number 0. Similar to that, we have list 1, 1 and second bracket has 3. So this first position 1 means this list, okay, at position 1, and this 3 means the position inside this list. So this will be 99. Okay, because it starts inside, again it starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this 99 will be at position 3. Similar to that, we have 2, 2, this list 1, and first and second both indexes are 2, 2. That means we are on this tuple, and inside this tuple we want to access the second position. So that will be specified by C. So this ways you can access elements inside a list and nested list. Again, we can have list slicing also. We can slice values from second index to index number 4. So we can do in the same way as we did in strings. We can say the first index value begins with 2 and till index 4. That means index 4 we need to include, so we will give here 5 because 5 will not be included and it will move one less than the last index value that you give. So 5 will not be included, it will be excluded. It will print only till second index value to fourth index value. Similarly, if you want to access elements from index 3 to end, so you can say list 1 3 colon, do not give any ending value. If you do not give any ending, it means till the last. Similar to that, if you want to start from the beginning and move to the end, you want the entire list elements to be printed, you can put just a colon. A colon marks without any indexes, marks beginning and end together, so it will give you the entire list of elements. Fine. And if you want to reverse a list, guys, then you need to use double colon and -1. Okay, so you have double colon values and -1 refers to move from the back. -1 is the jump value. Okay, this jump value starts from back, -1 if you give. So it will totally reverse, it will start printing from the back end. So it will print the last element first and so on. So it will totally reverse your list. Okay, Sonia ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Just give me a check when I need to stop, okay?
Yeah,
And
sure, sure.
query session. When we have to start query session, na, just give me a
Yeah,
check.
yeah. Oh,
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, guys. So we have to manipulate the list elements. We can manipulate different list elements. We have this list one. We can change any value. All the manipulation flexibility is allowed in list. You can do any sort of manipulation, any sort of changes in the list you want. Okay, this is the most flexible data type of Python, most popularly used as well. If you do not have any restrictions. So if you want to change the first item, you can say list 1 0th, you can just give 99 and change the value. You can print the list. Again, if you want to change the chunk of elements, you can just give a slice like 1 to 4 and give the updated values to it. So it will be updated. So once you will print it, you will get the values updated inside the memory of the list. Okay. You can append and extend list also. So you can append list, append new values in the list. You can append using append function. So here you have original list as 135. You can append value 7 over here. Okay, after appending, you will get the updated values in the list. You can you can add more values. If you want to add only a single value, then use append method. If you want to add a list of values, you want to add more multiple elements, then you can use extend method. So extend method, we are trying to give multiple values. So here those values will be added on with the original list. So you will get multiple values. Also guys, just make a check over here that 7 is repeated 2 times. Why so? Because list allows replication. It allows multiple same values to be present inside a single list. So you can have 7 2 times, 10 times, whatever number of times you want. It will not be discarded. The replication of values is allowed over here. Then we have tuple. Okay, in tuple we can say we can create an empty tuple also. We can work the similar way to list, but some differences are there. We'll talk about them. So if you want to create a tuple with a single element, this is known as a singleton. Okay, this term is very important when you talk about a single element tuple, singleton tuple. It has only one single element, and that single element must be followed by a comma. This comma is very important. If you do not give this comma, this will not be regarded as a tuple. It will be a single value, a number only. So remember always, if you want to create a tuple with a single element, just give a comma over here. Okay, then you can have a tuple with multiple integers. You can also have tuple with mixed data types also. You can have numbers, decimal values. You can have tuple nested inside another tuple. So you can see over here, you have one tuple and this another tuple is also there. Okay, and you also have a dictionary nested inside the tuple. So this is also completely allowed. So you can work with a combination of tuple and dictionary together. Fine. Okay. Now, one thing very important, guys, this is important to note. Unlike list, tuples are immutable. If you want to make any manipulations to a tuple, I told you these are right protected. You cannot change or modify things. So if you try to modify this first value of the tuple with 99, we did this in list, it was allowed. But in case of tuple, if you try to do it, it is going to give you error, and the error is going to be type error. It will say the object does not support assignment, item assignment. Okay, so that means it is right protected. You cannot change any value inside that tuple. Now, if you want to, if you have a nested tuple, and inside that tuple, if you have if you have a mutable value, suppose say inside this tuple you have this 1 2 and then a list. Now list is itself a mutable element. Now list can be changed. So if you want to change any value inside this list, this is allowed. Inside a tuple, these original values cannot be changed. If you want to change this 2, this 6, this 7, it will not be changed. But this list is itself a mutable element. It can be changed. This inside this list we can make changes. So we can say tuple. We are going to access the nested value. So we'll say second index value. This means that we are accessing this list, and inside this list we are accessing the first element, that is 3, and we are assigning it to 99. Then though this is allowed, now if you print the updated list, you can see inside that tuple the list value is changed from 3 to 99. So this is allowed because list is a mutable element, but numbers and strings over here are immutable, so any changes will not be allowed inside that tuple. Okay. Now, if you want to, work with tuples, you have only two methods present in tuple. List has a very big list of elements, list of methods, but tuple has only two methods available. There are no insertion, addition, removing methods. There are only two methods. One is to count the occurrence of values, and one is to check the index of that value. So if you have tuple with this APPLE, then you want to count the number of times of occurrence of P. You can work with this. You can say tuple1 dot count. It will count the occurrences of P, so it will be 2. And then if you want to check the index value of P, first time the index value, then it will be 1, because first time P is encountered at index position 1. So it will give you the first position of occurrence. Okay, so I have given you some points of difference of list and tuple also. So generally we use tuple for different data types when we need to have different data types, and list generally we use for similar data types, although list can contain values of mixed data types. We have seen that. Since tuples are immutable, iteration through a tuple is faster because they are immutable. So system does not monitor for any changes. It does not expect any changes from tuples. So that is why processing is a bit faster. And if you have data that does not change, if you want your data to be write protected, if you want that your data to be unchanged, you can use a tuple. If you want it to be changed, you can use a list. Okay. Now we come to set. The third part is the set. Okay. So set is an unordered collection of elements. It does not have any index values. It does not have any, you can say, order present in it. So it is unordered. Also, it has to be unique elements. There are no duplications allowed. There are no changes allowed inside that set values. Okay. So just see over here, no duplications are allowed here. So I am creating a new set. Set 1 equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print set 1. So you can simply print that set 1 inside curly brackets. So brackets are important. In Python, lists are in square brackets, tuples are in round brackets, set and dictionary are in curly brackets. Set have single values, dictionary has key pair values. Okay, so just remember those things. So nested set, again we have mixed data types in set. We can have decimal values, we can have strings, we can have a tuple nested inside a set. This is allowed. Similar to that, we can have a complex number also. So once you print it, you will get those values. Fine. So set cannot have duplicates. Even if we try to give duplicates 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, it will not give you any error. Rather, it will print the values only once. So if you print set 1, you can see although 1 is 2 times, but it is printing only a single time. 2 is given 2 times, it is printing 2 one time only. 3 is 1 time. 4 is given 4 times, so but it is printing only 1 time. So this is something important. Okay. Again, we can make a set from list also. So you can just use set function over here and give a list over here, and then it will be converted to a set. So list may have different, may have this replication of values, but once it is converted to set, replication will be disallowed. Okay, so you will not have two multiple times, you will have two single time only in a set. Now, if you want to just understand this thing, a set cannot have mutable items in it. It cannot have list embedded in it. Earlier I showed you that we had tuple inside the set, we had string inside the set, we have numbers, complex numbers inside the set. That was allowed. But giving a list is not allowed because list is mutable and set says totally immutable unique elements has to be there. So that is why list is not allowed inside a set. So you cannot combine a list inside a set. Fine. So this is going to give an error. It will say unhashable type list. Okay. Okay, anyways, set object also does not support any indexing. You cannot support any indexing over here, but you can add elements, you can remove elements from it. So in order to add element, you can use add function, add 9, and you can see the output. It will add 9 value to the original set. If you want to add multiple elements, you can use update method again. And here you can add this list of elements. Again, update method is used with a list. So 66, 77, this list will be combined with this set and the output will be a bigger set with 66 and 77 values added to it. Okay. Now if you want to remove values, you can use discard or remove element. Again, it was similar the previous find and index that we did, because in discard element, if the value is present, okay, it will discard it, it will remove it easily. But if the value is not present, discard method does not give you any error, it will leave it simply. Okay, but remove method, if the value is present inside the set and you want to remove that, it will remove. But if the value is not present inside that set and you use the remove method to remove that particular value, then it will give you an error. So you can see over here, we have this original set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I try to discard 6, it is okay because 6 is not present, so it does not give me any error. But when I want to remove 6, when I say remove method and use it with 6, it will give me an error. It will give me key error 6 because this value is not present inside the set. Okay, so this was the
Ma'am,
difference. Yes, ma'am.
you can wind up in next 5 minutes.
Okay, okay. Sure, ma'am. Sure. Okay, the remaining things we can continue in the next session.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So again, add method we have done. We can add values to this add using add method in the set, and we can get the updated set. Quickly, let us come to dictionary also. We can create an empty dictionary by saying curly brackets. Okay, so curly brackets always remember this, guys. Curly brackets are used both for set and dictionary. if you create this empty brackets now, it will always create an empty dictionary. It will not create an empty set. An empty set can only be created by using set function. Okay, set method is used to create an empty set. If you give this empty brackets, it will always create an empty dictionary. Okay, so you can create a dictionary with the integer keys. You can say 1, 2, these are key values, and each and every key has a value also. So just see, 1 is the key, colon, the value is apple. Okay, 2 is again the key, the value is mango. So you can print it. Similarly, you can have a dictionary with mixed keys. You have name, again name is Raman, and marks. So this Raman is having some marks, okay, in different subjects. You can give them marks and list of values 25, 45 and 37. So you can integrate list inside a dictionary. This is allowed. Fine. Similar to that, you can see you are trying to create a dictionary using dict function using tuple. So you can see where pair is present inside a tuple. So you are using dict function, and inside this dict function you are having a list of tuples. When I say list of tuples, it is important because this is a list which contains 2 tuples and each tuple is having a pair. So this 1 will become the key and its value is going to be apple. The first value, this 2, will become the key and the second value will become its value. Right? So this ways you can create dictionaries. Now, if you want to access elements in a dictionary, how you can do that? You can do them with the help of the keys. Okay, so suppose you have dictionary name Raman, marks is this. So name is, we can say dict2, and you can index it with the help of this name value. Okay, so this name will actually access the value associated with this name key. So the value will be Raman. Similar to that, marks, dict2.get, you can use get function, and inside the get you can use this marks as the indexer, you can say, to access the value of marks. This key is used and you will get the value 25, 45 and 37. So all in all, we can summarize this that in dictionary, if you want to access any value, you have to use or index the key associated with that value. That key is used as the index for accessing that particular value. So you can use updation. For updation, you can use the key to update the value. Suppose this age was having value 22, you can update this age with the value 29. This is allowed. You can add new value by giving key value pair, saying dict1, you are giving a new key, say address, and its value is Delhi. So if you print now, the original dictionary dict1 will be having this new key value pair address also. So now it will have name, age and address, all of them. So you can use pop method also, dict1. This will be used to remove the value. So you can use pop method to remove an item. So you can pop address. So once you use pop method to remove a particular value, this key value pair of address will be removed and you will get name and age only. Okay. So guys, I stop here because we have finished with all the data types over here. We have done with the basic number, strings, list, tuple, dictionary, set. We have completed the demonstration of all of them. The basics are clear to us. The next thing that we'll do in the next session will first of all wind up the flow control, a small demonstration on flow control and loops, and then we'll continue with the data pre-processing part and begin with the data pre-processing. Okay. Okay, Sonia ma'am, over to you. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
ma'am.
guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an informative session, ma'am. Anyone with any doubt can raise your hand. We'll unmute you in the session. Any attendee with any doubt, any participant with any doubt, you can just raise up your hand. Yes, it was a very informative session. Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. You can have the reactions from our
Thank you.
participants. Thank you so much. Let's all join at 2 o'clock. Join back at 2 o'clock after a small break. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.